All right, good afternoon, everybody. We'll be getting started here just in a few minutes. So welcome. We'll go over some of our trades that we took today, some of the broad market that I sent over the weekend. If you have not watched it, please go to my YouTube channel and check it out. All of this would make sense to you. We did this last week and then we did it this week. And I hope that it's helping you out. So this is a really straightforward strategy that we use by using supply and demand. Also using Fibonacci extensions, trendy edges, all these proprietary scripts that you're going to see. I'm going to talk you through it just really quick. It's really fast and easy. Basically, any line that is above price is going to be resistance until it's not. And any price line that's underneath price is going to be support. Now what we would like to do is pay attention to your upper banners here, and you can see that the market was over extremely bullish coming into this week. So any sort of pullback, we were biased to buying the dip. All right, so SPY, Qs, DIA, IWM, we have some big solid winners in here today. So again, congratulations. All we did was simply wait for the break of the neutral. In the neutral, we can do different things. We could trade off of the edges if we like. But the easier trade is just waiting for the breakout, taking that at the money or in the money call position here, and then looking to exit or trim up towards targets. So you can see here SPY did push into our 455.61 and 456. Now I pushed out an alert here in the room, or just like an update to let everybody know, hey, listen, T1 or 457.16 was a bit far for an intraday trade, so to start thinking about trimming. And as soon as we sent that out, it looks like price did pull back from that level. Okay, so very important for everybody to understand that. All right, so the next thing is over here on the Qs, same thing. We're looking for 379.70. Over here on the DIA, looking for 359.19. And then over here on IWM, we did hit T1 to the upside, and I went ahead and got out of that position as well. Okay, now what can we expect going into? This is important. What do we expect going into tonight and tomorrow? Well, if we go back to the broad market analysis, remember it's very important to understand that earnings are here. So a lot of companies are reporting, and this definitely makes the market neutral. All right, so it's very important that we pay attention to our levels. Whether you have trendy levels at home or you're just using something that you really like, wait for your support levels before you look to take the trade to the upside. Or you could try to take that breakout, but I would say just stay cautious and use tighter stops, okay? All right, so the SPY, we are basically between this 455.61 and 454.69. So if you will, bring your neutral up to this level. I'm not interested in taking a long unless we break back above the 455.61, or if we pull back into the EMA. And I'm using the 9 EMAs here, okay, folks? No secret there, 9 EMA. And if price pulls back into this level, say tomorrow, then I'd be looking to buy that dip for further continuation back up here. Now notice we have this inside candle and topping wick forming. Okay, what this tells us for professional traders right away is that we are range bound. We're going inside. Okay, and if we go inside and down, I expect sideways to down, potentially into the 9 EMA there. If we go inside and up, so over this 455.61, we can continue that move into our bigger target of 457.16. So all in all, what I've done is trim profits, take profits, and now just kind of reduced my shopping cart, if you will. All right, so I'm going into tonight with less than I came into this morning. Not saying that I'm fearful, but there's a lot of big companies that are reporting. And be sure if you have something, I'll just give you an example like FedEx. We were in FDX. I went ahead and got out of the higher delta options, and I went with a little further out of the money just because UPS is reporting and could have some sort of effect on FDX. All right. Now, I do believe that these companies will do well, but I don't know. So therefore, again, I reduce my exposure into them. QQQ, 376 holds. We're looking for 379.70. That's the bigger picture. I like how right here our 9 EMA could be confluent with our trendy edge or the top of the neutral. Therefore, this would be support. And again, this is resistance. So right now, that's all you need to know. 376.17 holds, looking for 379.70. Let's go over here to the Dow Jones or the diamonds. Again, have an inside candle. Cannot close over the 357.56, so therefore it's off limits for me. IWM, I went ahead and closed my position here at T1. Notice it came up and tagged that. Let's take that alert off. You can see there to the tick, really. So again, if you watch this information over the weekend, we prepped you to be able to take this trade before it happened. And that's what's important for you to understand here at Trendy Trading, is that we're prepping members before price happens, which is a little bit different than most traders. Okay, so here we are at IWM. If we can get over 229.89 and hold these levels, look for 232.24. All right. All right, let's go ahead and get this out of the way and see what we have coming up. All right, let's talk about some trades that we took today. Tesla, big one. All right, and this thing took off, and you can see here it's at 1,024. I ended up taking this a little later in the session. I wish this would have happened last week, right? This would have really done well for me. I know a lot of traders came into the weekend holding Tesla, and congratulations to them. I really hope this worked out for you. But I want to go over this trade because most traders have a really hard time holding on to profits. It's not that easy, right? So it's one thing to get stopped out of things, you get frustrated, but guess what? It's just as hard to hold profits. And anyone that tells you it's not is probably full of it, okay? So notice over here on the right hand side on a 5-minute chart, we have our scripts. And again, these are proprietary to us, and these buy signals are pretty complex. And basically what I do is I go long on a trade when one of these pop up and my stop goes underneath the green arrow. Pretty straightforward. Then I look for price to move over what we call the PMZ, and you can see here once we broke out and we got this buy signal, this is about the area I believe I started buying, and then we sold towards the top. I was down for a bit, and then price did come back later in the session. Now notice we continue to have buy signals here. Anybody that's new in trading, get yourself some EMA clouds. Seriously. You know, we have the Cadillac or the Mercedes of EMA clouds. We have actual buy signals and short signals in here. But even if you're just looking for a basic one, I think there's some free ones out there. But the idea here is to stay in the trend as long as price is holding above what you choose as your time frame above this EMA cloud. Okay, no reason to sell this unless we start to see candles close below that EMA cloud. Okay, and notice here we just continue to get buy signals off of the cloud. Okay, so very nice trade there. What to expect? We blew through this 940, 950 level. We're going to have to use some Fibonacci extensions to figure out where we want to be. So let's go ahead and erase everything. All right, we're going to make this really simple. I'm going to draw fibs from the breakout into the pivot high today. I wouldn't be surprised if we try to come back up and test that and push towards probably 1050 before close. But let's go ahead and do this. All right, and I'm going to go with what we have on the chart right now. I'm going to draw my fibs from the lower pivot into the high. I'm going to identify right around the 23.6 and my script there, that little purple line. And I'm going to erase this. I'm going to create a box for you guys. So to understand, 1013 by 984.17 is support for right now. Now this is a pretty big gap, and this is a pretty big day. So I'm just going to take the actual day, okay, with a fib extension. And I'm going to measure from today's pivot low into the pivot high. And I'm going to double click, and this is going to give me targets to the upside. Now what I'm going to do is just look for the 23 by the 50. And the reason why I'm going to use the 50 today is because there's a lot of momentum here, and you could see a move towards that 1094 area. Now in an extreme bullish case, if we gap up into this box tomorrow, 1066 holds, and we could see a move towards 1150. So I'm going to use this 100% here. Okay, just like that. And what if price pulls back? That's very important for you to understand. Say price pulls back into this level here. Again, I'm hands off. I don't want to do anything in that box because if we break down below that lower number of 984, then we have a higher potential of moving back at least into a double low at 945 or even filling a gap down here at 909. Okay, so again, this is a support level, and as long as this holds, we're looking for moves up towards 1066, 1094. If we pull back in here, I'm hands off until I get a buy signal. Okay, so that is Tesla. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other trades that we had today. We had some really good trades, and one of them was PLTR. And I just want to show you really quick how I took that trade. It's pretty straightforward. I just waited for the buy signal, and as soon as it popped up, I took the trade. So it popped up on one of my scanners. And we use all of our scanners to find them at the trendy levels. And once that scanner says, hey, PLTR is something you should be looking at, I come over here on a smaller time frame. I wait for a buy signal and then I take that trade. Okay. And as soon as we open up this morning, we pushed over what's called the pre-market zone. And because of that, I took that trade to the upside. And then we banked on this as well, and you can see we came right up into our targets here around 25.41 to end this session. Okay, so pretty straightforward. Not much behind that trade, but over here on the weekly, nice rounding bottom for the first time. This is what really drew my attention to PLTR, was that we were above the weekly cloud, and that's a big deal. Notice how we stayed under here for almost a month, and now we're finally getting above there. Bigger picture, I'm looking for 25.95, folks. If we can hold for 3 days above $26, we will see 28.68. 85% probability for that number. Okay. All right. So next one, we're going to go ahead and go to FDX. Okay, I want to show you that. And again, I decided to get out of my higher delta options on FDX. And the reason is UPS is reporting tomorrow. Because of that, I went ahead and I bought further out of the money. Again, we were in the money 88 days out. I had the 230 calls. They were coming in at around 16 bucks. So I went into the 270s, and those I bought at $2.72. They're flat on the day. They're going for 273, but they do have 88 days. What I'm looking at here as well is the rounding bottom. Notice we're coming into the cloud, so this was the short-term price target, and because UPS is tomorrow again, I went ahead and closed that early, but I am expecting a move up here towards this cloud around 240. UPS looks good. Maybe FDX starts to move as well. We could see that move all the way up towards 263. Let's go ahead and take a look and make sure that we're looking at earnings. Okay, just so I can give you that number. And it's a lot later in the year, so it is 12/16. So again, December 16th. All right. All right, so that's FDX. Let's go ahead and move on. TTD. All right, folks. So TTD, I was buying the dip on Friday when most traders were absolutely worried. They pulled back on some, information. SNAP, Snap pushed out there, kind of pulled back the market. I just found it as a buying opportunity for long-term calls. I'm personally out 88 days in these. They're starting to make a nice comeback. I've already trimmed from the options that I bought on the dip on Friday. So not bad. It's been a nice move up. You can see we have buy signals. Matter of fact, here's a great lesson. These are trendy levels here. We buy at the lower level and we look to trade it up into the upper level. Pretty straightforward. So again, good trade there on TTD. All right, and then moving over here to oil futures, I won't go into the chart, but I did close my options there for a profit. So that's been very bullish, had a good time. AMD, closed that for profits as well. Let's go ahead and look at AMD really quick to get an idea where we might be headed. And let's see if this will load. Thinkorswim's acting a little slow here towards the end of the day. You can see we had a buy signal on a weekly This is why I took the trade, or I took the deeper in the money options. Again, I went ahead and trimmed today because we're coming into that double top, and I want to show you guys that really quick. So look to your left, you can see this pivot high. I'll go ahead and draw a line for you. We'll just go straight across there, and notice that we've pretty much stalled, and now we're starting to pull back. That line is around 122.41. We're starting to pull back maybe into the VWAP or right around support around 121.64. Overall, I do see this thing moving up towards 140 before year end, as long as we can create a base over that 122.41. This is just a nice little cup, possible pullback. We are just a bit extended from the weekly 9 EMA, so please keep that in mind around 111.11. But again, we'll be watching this into this week if we can hold above 122.41. All right, let's go ahead and move on. Lulu was also a great name. We came in this session with swings on, and they are up $7.22 today. I closed on that, and I went with a weekly for a little bit of fun. So we made some good money on Lulu. And then I went ahead and jumped into a weekly, and I'm going to take a look at that real quick. And that is over here. I went ahead and bought the 450 calls. That's out of the money, but I'm allowed to have a little bit of fun, and that's what I'm looking to do, right? So we're trying to figure out what would the price of the options be at or around here, and you could sell some probably around 60 cents or so. But what I'm looking for on the weekly, nice little cup here. Notice that the trendy edge is resistance until not. So we're waiting for that break. Once I get a break here on the daily, I'll be looking for that move further up. Let's go ahead and get you that really fast. So I'm going to go here into this pivot high, and we could see 445, as you can see, into 455. So again, we need a break of this pink line, and I think we start to get busy over that. So about 430.50 on Lulu. All right, so that will be a trigger for more upside potential there. All right. All right, so next one I traded was Netflix. We did a call debit spread on this, and this worked fantastic. This was 280%. The way that I traded this was sort of unique. So if you're not used to spreads, then it wouldn't make a lot of sense to you. But I did a call debit spread going into earnings. They pulled back after earnings, so I got rid of the short side, and we went and stayed long on the long side, and we bought 2 weeks, and today I was able to close that for 280%. Overall, it's right up here towards our target, towards 677. I went ahead and closed that. I did that by using a stop on my options as we got closer to the target, and it looks like it worked out very well as price is pulling back into the close. Okay. All right, and then we closed Plug this morning. That was a great trade. I still like that long term. But other than that, the question is, where is the market going to go? So listen up. ES futures are my driver and have been for many, many years. And I do find myself to be an expert at using the best blueprint out there on ES. I read this, I coach it nightly, I trade it almost nightly, especially here lately. And so we give levels, I look for support and resistance, but the most important thing is that I just pay attention to the trend across the top of my screen. All this is formatted so that we don't have to go back. We don't have to measure things. We don't have to look at past levels. Everything that I need is on my screen and ready to go. And that's how I wanted to make it, so that traders in the room are all using basically the same process, the same levels, and it makes it a lot easier. It makes it less noise in the room. So just, I really appreciate that. As you can see, we're pushing up here towards my next target of 4576. We moved off an inside and up. We moved off the trendy edge, and we continue to move towards that 4576. Over here on the left hand side is the projection that I gave in December of 2020. So let that soak in. Everything's worked just as planned, so very nice. And over here on the right hand side, as you can see, the indicators gave us a buy signal here this morning over the PMZ. Stops placed, take the trade, things move up very nicely. Now what can you see? price could move back into this green arrow here, and I'll be putting out a new blueprint for our members tonight. I look forward to trading the futures with you guys tonight. I hope you look forward to trading them because, I mean, it doesn't stop just during the day. So, again, we'll be pushing those out. If you guys are interested in trendy trading, don't forget we have a blog on the website. It's free. You can come by there and learn a lot of stuff. We have a YouTube page as well. If you like the content, give us a like, give us a retweet. That's all we're looking for. We just want to teach traders, how to trade probably the highest probability levels out there in the market. Our signals, our levels work for themselves. Um, Once again, I really appreciate you guys taking out your time, coming by and listening. And, again, overall sentiment sideways after this big run. Let it digest tonight. We'll see if they buy the dip in the morning. Have a great day.